Microphone check, anyone?
We hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Tim Kurlitis here. Can anybody hear me?
I hear you.
Hi.
Good morning, Tim. Thanks.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. There's an echo. For those of you watching, you know that we are on WebEx or video in accordance with the governor's order. We thank you for joining us this morning. We call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance introduced by Meta Mueller.
Everyone stand, please. That is able to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Member Mueller will introduce our clergy this morning.
Good morning, fellow board members, Executive Winfrey, and everyone in attendance. Thank you so much for joining us on this special day. Our invocation today will be offered by Father Merkelis. Father Merkelis has been the president of Providence Catholic High School since April 2018. After having been a presence in the Providence community for many years, his first assignment at the school came in 1988 as the director of pastoral ministry. He was named principal in 1994, where he served for 5 years. He left the school in 1999 to serve as director of vocations for the Midwest Augustinians. He returned to Providence Catholic in 2004 as pastoral director, a position he has held ever since. Father Merck's goal is to work with all members of the Providence Catholic community to advance strong relationships that will help the school move forward and to truly reflect the gospel values shared by the Diocese of Joliet and the Augustinians. Thank you, Father Merck, for being here today.
That's very kind. You did your homework. Let us pray. Loving God, I ask your blessing upon this board. To them is entrusted governance and leadership. Governance is the ability to do things, to perform, to help. Leadership is the ability to do the right thing. Bless this board with insight, foresight, wisdom, respect, dedication, courage, and creativity to not only do things, but to do the right things for people. As public servants, may they serve generously and faithfully the people of this county. We ask this in the name of all that is holy and in my tradition, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Sperry,
Here.
Frizzalone, Newquist, Ogalla. Here. Here. Mustis.
Here.
Rice. Here. Tyson. Harris. Trainier. Trainier. Fritz.
Present.
Mueller.
Here.
Gould. Van Dyne. Van Dyne.
Here.
Balich. Brass.
Present.
Brooks.
In the building, here.
Parker.
Here.
Ventura. Dollinger. Markham.
Here.
Berkowitz. Tuminello. Perlitis.
Here.
Cowan. Here. Weigel,
Here. Here.
Cowan,
Here. Can you hear
25
me?
present, 1 absent. Can hear you now. And Jackie, she's present. Jackie is present, but as an attendee. Okay. 26 present. 26 present.
Say present, somebody fixed my status. Thank you very much.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion to place on file the certificate of publication.
Second, Ferry.
Madam Clerk?
Ferry, Civilone,
Yes.
Newquist, Ogalla,
Yes.
Hook,
Yes.
Mustis, Rice,
Yes.
Tyson,
Yes.
Harris, Trainier, Fritz,
Yes.
Euler, Gould,
Yes.
Van Dyne,
Yes.
Alich,
Yes.
Graff,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Parker, Ventura,
Yes.
Dollinger,
Yes.
Markham, Berkowitz,
Yes.
Tuminello, Weigel,
Yes.
Carlitis,
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
26 affirmative. 26 affirmative.
Thank you. We need the approval of minutes for the Will County regular meeting of September 17th.
Move, Brooks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Madam Clerk, would you acknowledge our elected officials and media?
Yep, this morning, from what I can see on the WebEx, we have Will County Coroner Lori Summers, County Clerk Lawrence Bailey Ferry, County Executive Denise Winfrey, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, State's Attorney James Glasgow, Treasurer Tim Brophy, Illinois State Senator Jennifer Bertino Tarrant. And for the media, we have Nick Ryer from the Farmers Weekly Review and Alex Ortiz from the Herald News.
Thank you. We also have with us State Representative Larry Walsh, Jr. and ROE Sean Walsh. This morning, we come together. We want to honor someone who is a part of us for a number of years, 16 years. We want to recognize all that he meant to this county, to this body here. We are going to do a tribute this morning to Larry Walsh, Sr., because he was a part of us. And is no longer with us. I invite the family to join me down front. I ask all family and friends to join me down here. All of you. Please join us. represent the light that was Larry. To recognize his spirit and all that he meant to this county. I invite family and friends to take a candle and light your light from Larry's light. We have a tribute from Speaker Mimi Cowan.
Thank you, Madam Executive. It's tough to find the right words to honor Mr. Walsh. My tenure in county government is literally only a blip compared to what his was. He has been serving the members and the constituents of Will County since literally longer than I've been alive. He is, and this is a trite phrase, but it's true with Larry, an institution in Will County. Today, we're honoring his service and his dedication to his neighbors, to his friends, to his family in Will County, but also the service, dedication, and sacrifices made by his wife, his children, his grandchildren, and how they've been along for this ride the whole time, too. That they honored Larry's efforts, Larry's compassion for the community, and his drive for serving these people, as evidenced by how many members of his family have followed in his footsteps. When I first got involved in politics and governance in Will County, Larry was one of the first people I met because everybody knew that he was the first one you had to go talk to. And I'll never forget the advice he gave me that first time we met. And it's something that anyone who's talked to him about campaigning knows. And that's, you don't go to just certain doors when you're knocking doors. You go to all the doors because they're all your constituents. And I think that bit of advice really embodied, for me, what I came to know as Larry's ideology and Larry's vision for governance, that you take care of everyone. So it's quite literally because of Larry that I sit where I am today in so many ways. I think it's appropriate and notable that he has been able to pass the torch as we have been able to pass the light representing his leadership and love for this community today. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Walsh and the whole family for being here, for joining us, and for allowing us these few moments to honor a truly special and admirable leader. As Father Mark told us, being a leader is knowing the right thing to do. And I think that's exactly what Larry Walsh did for Will County. Thank you.
County Board Member Jim Moostis, who has been here the entirety of Larry's tenure, will now offer his tribute.
First, let me say hello to the Walsh family, and let me say this about Larry. What an extraordinary life. What an extraordinary man. He was 50 years of public service. Now, very few can say that. You know, I had the privilege of serving with Larry. Ups and downs, we agreed, we disagreed, but one thing that Larry always kept his eye on the ball, and that was to make Will County and to serve Will County, the people of Will County, the best we could. I like to say that, you know, there was three subjects it was easy to engage in conversation with Larry. Farming, the White Sox, and of course there was no subject he liked to talk about more, and that was the people of Will County. You know, to walk the streets of Will County with Larry, it seemed everybody knew him. I turned to him and would say, "Is there anybody here you don't know?" And he always knew their first names, and he always addressed them by their first names. Once he met you, he remembered you. I can't think of any one person who's had a more impact on Will County and to make the life of Will County residents better than Larry. You know, he when you talked about Will County, just lit up. And he persevered working with county board members, because sometimes it wasn't easy. But once again, he always kept his eye on the ball to let's try to move the agenda forward for the benefit of the residents of Will County. I personally, on a personal basis, I also miss Larry. We had a good meeting, I would say, and it's important to also government. But I can't think of one person who's had a more of an impact on the people of Will County than Larry, and he will be missed. And I know his family is proud, and he should be proud, and pass on the history of Larry Walsh Sr. So everyone continues to know the great man he was. Thank you, and once again, to the Walsh family, to his kids, grandkids, and to Irene. He was a great guy. We'll miss him. Thanks.
Thank you. Father McKellis, would you bless the memory of Larry and all of us present?
We just relived Larry's life. He received the light from God through family and friends. And it might be simplistic to say, because of his work, this side of the room is lit up. You received the light of God through family and friends, and when the two of you got together, there was a fire, because this side of the room received light. So even though we will extinguish these candles, you get the symbolism. And the point is now, because Larry didn't walk around with a candle in his hand. It was in his heart. So we'll extinguish these candles, but we continue the light. So I ask you, loving God, to bless us, bless Larry, and have him part of his blessing. I hope he's looking down on us and blessing us as well. Bless us and our lives. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Bye, Larry. We invite you all to extinguish your candles and basket and return to your seats. Father McKellis, if you will speak for us.
I just want to share a brief reflection this morning before we get into the video tribute. Pope Francis once wrote a beautiful reflection on the quality of good leaders, or as he referred to them in religious language, good shepherds. He wrote that a good shepherd must live with the smell of the sheep. A leader must put his own skin and own heart on the line. Otherwise, he never hears a warm, heartfelt word of thanks. The Pope encouraged leaders to be shepherds with the smell of the sheep. I think Larry often smelled like sheep or pigs or cattle or chicken or wherever he was, literally and metaphorically. He put his own skin and heart on the line. He knew people, and he connected with people on the federal level, on the state level, on the county level, and across party affiliation, which is really key nowadays, because he shared with them a common humanity and a common belief in the goodness of people and the rightness of the cause. I miss his hearty laugh. I miss the way his eyes glistened when he talked about his family. And I miss his ability to make you feel like you were the only one in the room when he spoke with you. He was truly an effective public servant and a man of faith. He carried the scent of the sheep. Thank you, God, for such a good shepherd.
Thank you, Father McKellis. We now have a short video. Thank you to all of you for joining us here today. That concludes our memorial service. We are going to take a 5-minute break and reconvene. Our next event this morning, or next item rather, is a check presentation to the Spanish Community Center. I believe board members Edna Brass and Herb Brooks have a check.
Yes, I do. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you witnessed on this morning, Madam Executive, Veronica Gloria from the Spanish Center Joliet came to this facility, county building, and I met with her just prior to the meeting, and I presented her a check from our Waste Management District 8 funding and gave her a grant for $5,000, and that grant is for emergency rental assistance during COVID-19, as well as counseling that is related to COVID-19. And lastly, Veronica informed me that she got married on last week, so I want to congratulate Veronica and Andre for getting married. And she got your check, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Next, Board Member Gloria Dollinger will read into the record a recognition for National Energy Efficiency Month.
Thank you, County Executive Winfrey. Good morning, and I just want to encourage the county to continue to work with all of our energy partners in bringing efficient energy to the residents of Will County. And so in recognizing October as National Energy Efficiency Month, this is the proclamation. Whereas energy efficiencies continue to be cheapest, quickest, and cleanest way to meet our energy needs and reduce utility bills for residential, business, and industrial companies. And whereas energy efficiency can also make our homes and workplaces healthier, safer, and more comfortable. And whereas implementing energy efficiency and other clean energy policies and programs can help boost economic opportunities and job creation while continuing to move a sustainable future. And whereas elected officials and staff work together to innovate Will County's approach to energy efficiency and renewable energy. And whereas the county has continued to focus on reducing its energy usage as part of the U.S. Department of Energy's Better Building Challenge since 2009. And whereas together, the residents of Will County can continue to contribute to our sustainability efforts by learning more about energy efficiency and practicing smarter energy use in their daily lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Will County Board and Will County Executive hereby proclaim October 2020 as National Energy Awareness Month. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive urge citizens, agencies, and other organizations to recommit to strengthening our energy security and to using our energy resources responsibly to continue on a path toward energy independence. Dated this 15th day of October, 2020, and signed by County Executive Denise E. Winfrey and Will County Clerk Lauren Staley Ferry.
And you so move?
I so move.
Second, Frizzalone.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution is carried. Thank you, Member Dollinger. All resolutions and ordinances from the September 17th board meeting have been signed. Next, we have from Metro, we have their annual budget presentation. Joining us this morning is Chief Financial Officer Thomas Farmer and Board Member Don Orsino.
Thank you, County Executive Winfrey and members of the Will County Board for allowing me to present this budget. Can everybody hear me okay? I've been having some problems this morning with our connection.
We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Under Metro's proposed 2021 budget, there will be no fare increases or service cuts. However, expenses will need to be cut by $70 million additional if additional COVID-related assistance is not received. For our proposed 2021 budget, we have allocated $700 million for operating costs and $386.4 million for capital needs. We will continue our significant investment in rail cars, locomotives, bridges, and stations. The proposed operating budget assumes Metra ridership will end at 2020 with about 20% of its pre-COVID level and increase 50% by the end of 2021, if projections are accurate. Metra expects $158 million in fare revenue, $336 million from regional transportation sale tax, and $206 million from the Federal CARES Act, totaling $700 million. With current spending rates, service levels, and increases in inflation, the contractual obligations, Metra must secure $70 million additional dollars from resources or make significant cuts. If Metra does not receive the federal assistance over the 2021 through 2023 plan period, drastic actions impacting Metra service will be required beyond 2021. Metra is proposing one change in fares and adjustment to the weekend pass in order to entice more families and discretionary travelers to ride the system. A new Saturday or Sunday day pass will be available for $7, valid for either Saturday or Sunday. The existing $10 pass for the weekend will remain available, but it'll only be sold on the Metra app. Metra also introduced a 2021 capital budget of $386.4 million, the second year of significant increase in capital funding from Springfield's 2019 passage of the new capital program. More than half of the capital funding will go towards major projects, including $69.9 million for locomotives and car rehabilitation. Metra will continue its innovative and cost-efficient locomotive and car rehab programs and will fund programs to overhaul 21 recently purchased Amtrak locomotives and upgrade locomotives with more reliable AC traction power motors. $61.5 million for new rolling stock. Metra is close to purchasing new rail cars after asking manufacturers to propose new designs and maximize capacity and add customer amenities. $12.9 million for bridges. Metra has nearly 500 bridges that are more than a century old. Funding will be used to design and construct and replacement of several bridges. $47.3 million for stations. Metra is currently in a major effort to upgrade its stations with an emphasis on ADA accessibility and ensuring that all stations have warming shelters. $34.9 million for equipment and vehicles. And lastly, the public hearing for Metra's preliminary 2021 operating and capital program and budget will be conducted virtually on Thursday, November 5th, 2020, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The hearing will be available to the public within Cook, DuPage, Keene, McHenry, and Will counties through WebEx. Comments may also be mailed via U.S. mail or email to 2021budgetcomments@metrarr.com. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Thank you. Beth, do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Any hands up? Okay.
Denise, my hand is up.
Ms. Ventura?
Yeah, I was just wondering if they've projected, if the $70 million does not come in, where they anticipate some of those cuts will be. Will it be in people's jobs and payroll, or will it be in some other area of their business?
Well, what we're looking at, if we don't get the $70 million in additional CARES money or some other form of funding, we're going to have to look at service reductions, and also many different places in administrative and in areas like that. Right now, we've cut a lot of administrative jobs, and we have not filled jobs as they've phased out. So we're trying to do everything we can right now to kind of keep a lid on things. The other thing that we're doing is we're looking at, in the future with our CARES money, trying to extend the CARES money out so we don't spend it all at one time, and then slowly, hopefully, our ridership will come back, and then we'll realize what the new normal may be.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other questions? Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is the Land Use and Development Committee. Mr. Markham.
Executive and everybody, I'll begin by moving to open the public hearing for all land use cases.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Second, Tuminello.
Thank you.
Barry?
Yes.
Frizzalone? Newquist?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Fritz? Euler?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Grass? Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura? Dollinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz? Tuminello? Weigel?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
26 affirmative. 26
Thank you.
affirmative.
Thank you. Mr. Markham.
Alrighty, we have a few cases to be heard. Zoning case ZC 20-030, which is a map amendment from C3 to I1, special use permit for a self-storage facility, and a special use permit for a storage yard, which is in Creek Township at 25608 South Dixie Highway. Zoning case ZC-20-042, which is a map amendment from A1 to I1 and a special use permit for a truck terminal. This is in Jackson Township at 24101 South Brandon Road, Elwood, Illinois, County Board District 6. And finally, ZC-20-046, which is a special use permit for ancillary liquor services in Frankfort Township at 7717 West St. Francis Road, Frankfort, Illinois, County Board District number 2. And I don't know if anybody signed up, so I will defer to whoever has the sheet.
We have no speakers signed up. Is there anyone wishing to be heard? Anyone wishing to have public comment on these cases? Last time, speakers for these three cases, public hearing. Madam Clerk.
All right. I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you.
Before we move to close the hearing, did anyone check if any of those callers needed to be unmuted, or are they able to talk to Beth in case one of them wanted to speak?
Good morning. Did you want to speak for public hearing? Good morning. Did you want to speak for public hearing?
No one wishing to be heard. Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Barry?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Newquist? Ogala?
Yes.
Bustis? Rice?
Yes.
Tyson? Trainier? Fritz? Mueller?
Yes.
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura?
Yes.
Ballinger? Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz? Tuminello? Eagle?
Yes.
Flightus?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
23 affirmative. 23 affirmative.
All righty. So number one for land use is zoning case ZC-20-030, which is the zoning map amendment from C3 to I1, a special use permit for self-storage facility, and a special use permit for a storage yard in Crete Township, commonly known as 25608 South Dixie Highway, Crete, Illinois, County Board District number 1. And I will make my first motion is to approve the zoning map amendment from C3 to I1.
Second by Weigel.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Previous roll call, Weigel.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Ferry.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, for the same case, ZC-20-030, the second motion that I will make is approval of special use permit for service storage facility with one condition. So I so move.
Second, Ferry.
Yes, Brooks.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried.
For zoning case ZC-20-030 is approval of a special use permit for a storage yard outdoor with one condition, and I so move.
Second, Ferry. Previous roll call, Weigel.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Appropriate number 2, which is zoning case ZC-20-042, which is a zoning map amendment from A1 to I1, a special use permit for truck terminal in Jackson Township, commonly known as 24101 South Brandon Road, Elwood, Illinois, County Board District number 6. My first motion will be to approve the zoning map amendment from A1 to I1. It was voted 5-2 in committee, and so I so move to approve.
Second, Weigel.
Previous,
Ferry.
Second, Brooks.
Discussion.
Thank you. The discussion, Mr. Van Dyne?
Previous.
Thought I just heard that. Okay.
Thank you, Denise.
Tyler had just mentioned the Planning and Zoning Committee was 6-0 to amend the map from A1 to I1, and the committee was 5-2. Can I ask? I was not at that committee meeting. What was the reason that there was some heavy discussion on that?
To Rachel and Amanda, because they were the two who voted no, so I'll let them speak for themselves. I don't want to misrepresent anything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Ventura. The staff had recommended not approving the special use permit on this because it would create an island in Will County where only that exists. It is surrounded by Center Point. This particular case was approved for annexation into Joliet, the city of Joliet. However, the applicant did not want to have to do the sewer and the water and all that, so they came to Will County to get a more favorable opinion, meaning they didn't have to spend as much money. Now, we did add a number of conditions onto this, but I felt that if they wanted to be in Joliet, with the Center Point, that they needed to go to Joliet. They'd already been approved, that this was not appropriate for Will County. When that got voted down, we did add a number of conditions, but since then I have found, or someone has told me that this property is for sale. Now the attorney, and maybe he's present here today, said that even Center Point wouldn't buy it, that this wasn't something that they wanted, but I actually found out that Center Point had made offers on this property a number of times, and that the city has asked them to clean up their appearance of this lot multiple times. So I feel like some of the information that was given at our last meeting was disingenuous. So I would like the attorney to discuss whether or not this property is in fact for sale, because if they're just changing it to I-1 to get a better sale price on the land, that's not helping our the people in the area. That being said, I will probably be a no again on this case because of the things I mentioned before. They've already been approved to be annexed into Joliet, so it really needs to be handled there.
Okay. And I believe there was another hand. Did you say Amanda? Oh, Jim. Okay.
Did you say I could go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. See, I like to point out a couple of things. Property owners have property rights. Some members of the board evidently don't think there are such things as property rights. They have every right to stay in an unincorporated area. And when people want to put in hearsay evidence, we should totally disregard it. I heard this. Oh, somebody told me. My understanding is it's all hearsay. I would advise board members to be careful putting any weight into those kind of comments, like somehow it's true, or they want time to substantiate the hearsay. You don't know what people say. So I just want to point it out. The Planning and Zoning approved it, the land use approved it, and I think we should go ahead and move forward. And if Joliet and the property owner want to continue to negotiate, I do think at committee some of the additional conditions would put it more in line with the City of Joliet's codes. That's why they added them. So, this isn't in my district. I'm familiar with the area. I don't think it's inappropriate zoning. It is surrounded by basically Center Point and Joliet. I suppose, I believe Joliet's on three sides of this property. I suppose they could force annex it if they felt strongly enough to put in the City of Joliet. So that's my only comments. Thanks.
Are there other hands? Mr. Van Dyne, do you have another comment?
Can we have the attorney answer if it's for sale or not? I'm not trying to make it hearsay.
Mr. Van Dyne has the floor right now.
Well, thank you for those comments. I also see in the packet that the Village of Elwood had written a letter stating, asking for denial as well. So I'd just like to say that I will be a no on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Osterberger? Oh. Okay.
To address Ms. Ventura's comments, so I was the attorney at PZC and at the committee. I don't misrepresent the truth. I've been doing this for 28 years. Anybody who wants to do this can't misrepresent the truth. Mr. Lepacek is the owner. You've seen the pictures. It is unfortunately not a very pretty piece of property. He's treated it with his collectibles and cars and things. It's in violation, needs to be cleaned up. Very few owners rezone and develop the property themselves. I indicated that he was not developing this property. CenterPoint has not made an offer. If they made an offer historically many years ago, I don't know that. The most recent offer was from the peaker plant, the power plant nearby. I don't know why they had a contract, but they walked away from it. I think they wanted it under contract for approval purposes. So I don't know if there was confusion, but there is no active interest by CenterPoint to buy this property. With respect to Elwood's comments, their comments were that they are concerned about truck traffic. The ultimate footprint that would be developed here would be about 6 acres. So we're not talking about any kind of warehouse. It's a small facility. The intent is to use the existing farm building after it complies with county standards. Elwood's concern about truck traffic, I think, is general. It's not an objection necessarily to the I-zoning. They're worried, and certainly their concern, and probably should be in general, they have an intermodal within their city limits, and they have millions of square feet. As indicated at land use and PZC, you want to repair trucks, and you want to have them housed in the middle of between the intermodals and where this stuff happens. These trucks would perhaps go south to get to Knoll Road to go in front of the peaker plant and then west to Baseline. More likely they go north to Millsdale over to Baseline and should not, other than going into the intermodal the way all the other trucks do to pick up and move materials in between the intermodals and the warehouse, there wouldn't be any adverse impact or any impact. If this went to Joliet, it would be the same. It would be the same truck usage. So I appreciate their concern, but I don't think it was an objection to the actual use. They just expressed a general concern on trucks.
Thank you, Mr. Ascherberger.
Thank you.
Are there other hands? Ms. Trenier?
I took my hand down. I got my question answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, each of them has already spoken. Do Mr.
That's a new
or Ms.
hand.
Ventura have a new question?
Yes, the attorney did not answer entirely if the land was for sale. There is a listing on Redfin now. I did post the link. I'm happy to read it to the public with the URL if that's needed, so the rest of the public can see it. Can you please address the fact that this property is for sale?
Yes, it is for sale, Ms. Ventura. As I indicated, I never represented it wasn't. Mr. Lepacek is a small, collectible kind of repair person. He is not an industrial user. He's not a truck repair individual. So if there was confusion, I apologize. But again, these properties develop and pass through other people's hands. I'm not sure. The answer to your question is yes, but I wonder of their relevance to our zoning decision on ownership.
All right, my other question is for staff now. If this was to pass with the conditions that we placed, is there anything in the works that would make these conditions go to the next owner, and is all of that information needed to be listed in the sales contract? My fear in this case is, like I said, that this individual may be selling and wishing to move to I-2 just for a higher sales price. But then ultimately, if the new owner is not aware of some of these conditions that we've placed on here, including some of the planting of trees, which can be quite expensive, the bioswale that we added, some of the native plants, all of this is to protect the environment there, as well as the signage for trucks going in and out of this lot. Would the new owners have to have those conditions, and would that have to be listed on the sales contract?
Ms. Venturi, if I could interject with respect to the sales contract, normally those things are not, but as conditions of an approval of a special use, absolutely. And every buyer who will come to do their due diligence will see the resolution with the conditions, which will be an obligation. Without those conditions, the use is pulled.
All right. Can I have land use also clarify that? I just would hate for someone to purchase this land and then realize that they had to do all that before they could use the land.
Is there someone from land use on the call who would verify what Mr. Osterberger just said?
Yes, County Executive Winfrey. This is Marguerite Kenny with the Land Use Department. With this special use permit, the applicant has indicated that the special use be transferable to future property owners. So if the special use would be approved with the 15 conditions that the Land Use Committee amended, they would be applicable to any subsequent property owners. It would be part of the future property owners' due diligence to find out, what existing zoning conditions are on that property, and they'd be subject to meet those conditions.
Thank you very much. I would ask that my county board members vote no on this and allow H. Joliet to finish dealing with this applicant. Thank you.
I believe we have another hand, Judy Ogala.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this is in my district and I do support it. I know it's in the area over there, and I support this land use case. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you may be on the wrong case, Judy, but thank you. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Steve Ballard.
Go ahead.
I don't think it matters whether a person's going to sell their property or not. They have property rights, like Mr. Moose has said. So, Rachel doesn't want anybody to make any money, I guess. I don't get it. If you have a piece of property, you should try to use your property, and if you can make a profit by selling it, God bless you. But they're not asking for anything outrageous. If you look at the location, like Judy said, there's no problem with that location. So if they come back for a sale. If they want to do something different, they got to get a special use also. So I don't see why anybody would vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Are there other questions about the conditions on this property? Beth? Member Rice?
Can I say one other thing?
Member Rice is up next, and then Mr.
Okay.
This is Beth Rice, and I'm wanting confirmation. Whose district is this property in?
The property is in District 6. That would be Member Gould and Member Van Dyne.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Mr. Moustis?
Yeah, I was just going to say that when we're considering zoning, special uses, zoning changes, whether a property is going to be up for sale or not is not part of the criteria of our decision making. When you're in business, everything's for sale, right? When you're a property owner, and that's potentially all properties are for sale, but certainly it should not be a consideration for the zoning. We are basing whether it's appropriate in that area, that type of activity. It doesn't matter if they don't want to annex into a municipality. That shouldn't come into play. Outside, sometimes there are strong recommendations, or we require them to hook into public sewer and water systems or some kind of other sewer and water systems. But my point is property being for sale is not part of the criteria that we make our decisions on. You can do all kinds of projecting, but I would hope that our board members recognize that's not a criteria for zoning. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Seeing no other hands, thank you. Okay. Ms. Newquist?
Yes. I am not. I'm not looking at whether this property is for sale or not and trying to make this decision, but I am somewhat concerned that, Joliet has issues about this and that Elwood has issues about this. Joe, can you talk a little bit about why Elwood is opposed to this?
Mr. Osterberger.
Yes, so I think in your packet you can see that there was one or two emails from Elwood simply raising a concern about traffic. I know.
Yes, I did see those.
So, as we know, municipalities have a right to make legal objections. Joliet, I sat with Joliet. We were submitting an application to Joliet. And when we discuss the factors, and often on annexation, the municipalities will give you some concessions. You see that on very large projects where they give very wealthy large land developers and users concessions. They don't do that with the small guys. And so I met with Kendall Jackson, and he was very nice, and staff is great as always. And I told them that it was not tenable to develop this small, out of the 9.5 acres, only about 6 is going to be usable because of the creek and a pipeline. And he understood we were coming here. Joliet has the power to force annex. They have the power to make a legal objection. They did none of that. With respect to Elwood, they commented only on the traffic, and they also have a right to make a legal objection. So I think both those municipalities understood that when you have a 6.5 acre piece or so that's going to be the ultimate footprint, that there are real challenges. So I do appreciate both of them for making their comments, but not making legal objections.
Other questions? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Roll call. Oh, we need a roll call. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Osterberger. Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Rice?
No. No.
Harris? Trainier? Fritz?
Yes.
Mueller? Gould? No. Was that a no, Don? Member Gould, was that a no? Can't hear. Van Dyne?
No.
Balich? Brass?
No.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker? Ventura? Ballinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz? Chumanello?
Yes.
Yes.
Krolitis?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes. Trenier, please show me as a yes. Sorry, my phone rang and I hit mute at the wrong time.
Lauren, can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you now.
I'm sorry, we had trouble with this all day. I said no.
Okay, we got it. Thanks, Don.
I had trouble with this all day long.
17 affirmative.
17,
9. Go ahead.
17 affirmative, 9 negative.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Next up, for the same zoning case, ZC-20-042, is a special use permit for a truck terminal with 15 conditions, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Weigel. Previous roll call, Weigel.
Second, Brooke.
Roll.
We're going to need a.
All right, take it back.
I'm going to go ahead and call the roll. County Executive Winfrey.
This stupid thing doesn't even work.
Madam Clerk, if you hold, please. Mr.
They
Gould
can't
has a
hear me.
question.
Sorry. Stupid thing.
I can hear you, Don.
Can't hear this.
No, not now. I can't. Don?
Hi, I'm sorry, Denise. This is fading in and out all day long.
Do you had a question before we
No.
call the roll?
I don't think he has a question. Can I go ahead and call the roll?
Yeah.
Thank
Barry?
you,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself now. Like that.
Tim.
Barry?
Would type for us, please.
Frizzalone? Ogala?
Yes.
Mustis?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Tyson? Harris? Stranier? Fritz? Mueller? Gould?
No.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Ellich? Brass?
No.
Brooks?
Yes.
Brooks?
I'm a yes. Can you hear me?
Yep. Parker?
Yes.
Ventura?
Yes.
Ballinger?
Yes.
Markham? Berkowitz?
Yes.
Tuminello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Politis?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
We had no correction.
23 affirmative, 2 negative.
Thank you. The motion passes.
I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me.
Oh, yes. Okay, thanks, Gretchen.
Yes.
Can you repeat the vote again, Lauren?
24. Yep, 24 affirmative, 2 negative.
Thank you. Mr. Markham?
Next up, we have number 3, which is zoning case ZC-20-046, which is a special use permit for ancillary liquor services with 4 conditions in Frankfort Township, commonly known as 7717 West St. Francis, Road, Frankfort, Illinois, County Board District Number 2, and I move to approve the special use permit.
Second, Weigel.
Madam Clerk? Is there discussion? I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Ferry,
Yes.
Frizzalone, Newquist.
Yes.
Ogala.
Yes.
Rice. Tyson.
Yes.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Mueller. Mueller.
Yes.
Gould. Van Dyne.
Yes. Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brass.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
For Ventura.
Yes.
Markham. Berkowitz. Berkowitz.
Yes.
Tuminello. Weigel.
Yes.
Perlitis.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
26 affirmative.
Thank you. The motion passes.
All right, next up we have resolutions. Under resolutions, the first thing is 20-354, which is authorizing an extension of special use permit 20-010 for zoning case ZC-18-042. This is in Crete Township, commonly known as 631 South Cottage Grove Avenue, Crete, Illinois, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Newquist.
Previous
roll.
roll.
Second, Weigel.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Number 2, which is 20-355, which is authorizing an extension of special use permit 20-011 for zoning case EC-18-043, which is vacant property on East Goodnow Road, Crete, Illinois, and I move to approve.
Previous Brooks.
Second, Ferry.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have number 3, which is 20-356, which is authorizing an extension of a special use permit 20-012 for zoning case EC-18-040. This is in Troy Township, commonly known as 18424 North Frontage Road, Shorewood, Illinois, and I make the motion to approve.
Second, Trenier.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
4, which is designating the George Flood Farmstead as a historic landmark, and I move to approve.
Second,
Second, Brooks.
Trenier.
Previous Brooks.
Second, Fritz.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That concludes land use and development for today. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 10th, 2020 at 10:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Markham. Next up, we have Finance Committee, Mr. Harris.
Good morning, County Executive. Does this sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, County Board members. I do have 6 resolutions to bring forward, but before I do, I want to place on file the monthly reports. I have, I believe, 6 total that I need to place on file, and they are, let's see what we got here. The first report is a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to the Will County for the month of July 2020 to be $2,014,325.39. The RTA tax received is $2,368,200.93 for a total of $4,382,526.32. The next report is the report from the Will County Treasurer dated August 31st, 2020 from Will County Treasurer Tim Brophy. The third one is a quarterly report for the 3 months ending February 28, 2020 from Will County Auditor Duffy Blackburn. We also have a quarterly financial report for the 6 months ending May 31st, 2020 from Will County Auditor Duffy Blackburn. And the fifth and final report is a quarterly financial report for the 9 months ending August 31st, 2020 from the Will County Auditor Duffy Blackburn. I so move.
Second, Ferry.
Second, Brass.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. I do have 6 resolutions to bring forward. The first one is 20-357. This is the determination of the estimate of the annual aggregate levy. Basically what we're doing here with this, we're adopting an estimate. This is, in essence, establishing a ceiling. Over the last few months, we had quite a bit of discussion on items that of importance that we seem to have consensus on that deals with, but not limited to, CAC funding, staffing, in particular the courthouse, equipment that related to the courthouse. We talked about levy and transportation. We will be continuing these discussions over the next month as our final budget will be adopted at the November meeting at the level of real estate tax that we feel necessary at that time. So I'm asking everyone to approve this estimate, and then we will continue to discuss what it needs to be over the next month. So I so move.
Second, Trenier.
Roll call vote here.
Is there a previous?
Roll call vote.
Yes. Roll vote. That's for roll call vote.
There's a discussion. So before we go to the roll call, first hand is Ms. Ventura.
I had asked some questions in caucus, and Nick said he was going to try and prepare some numbers. I was just wondering if those were available for this estimate, if he's on the call.
Can everyone hear me? I would recommend we have Rashawn Howard on the phone. I think she can probably speak to this, but Rachel's question at the Democratic caucus was, and the same question she's asked previously is, could we lower the highway levy and shift the money to, I believe, property tax relief? So that's, and there's a long history. I explained at the Democratic caucus too. We did lower the levy previously and took money from other spots to cover that cost. But the one thing I said at the caucus was, despite some people's belief, there are $1 billion worth of road projects in our long-range plan that need to be funded, and we're using RTA money to pay for our bonds for the courthouse and the public safety complex. So it's going to be challenging to shift money from the highway department unless we want to cut back on projects. So I would defer to Rashawn, though, or the finance folks. So.
Thank you. Rashawn, are you on the call?
Rashawn doesn't have it, was that my understanding is we cannot bring it to zero, so I wanted to know what the number is. Is it a percentage or a flat amount that we could lower it to? I think Nick had initially said as long as it wasn't zero, but and then how much, if we were to lower that highway levy down, how much would that impact the budget in a set number, like $500,000, $1 million, et cetera?
Rashawn, are you on the call?
This is Rashawn. I am on the call.
If you would, go ahead, please.
Madam Executive, this is the first time I'm hearing of that, and Rachel, to answer your question, and I think we had this discussion previously, and also had the Highway Director, Jeff Ronaldson, weigh in on this. We have lowered the highway levy prior, to this, and I think, lowering the levy further would cut into their operations. So,
verify. I did not want to cut the operation costs. I just wanted to pay for it through the motor fuel tax, since we had passed the gas tax. And I understand what Nick is saying. There are roads that need to be done. What I'm saying is that we could, space out some of those projects. We did estimate $12 million coming in, and so that's why I wanted to find out what the number in the highway department is that funds the transportation. So if that department is funded by $2 million and we brought in $12 million a year, then that still leaves, if we pay the $2 million for the transportation out of the fuel tax, then that still leaves $10 million for the road projects. Now, one or a few of those roads may need to be spaced out a little bit more in order to pay for them, but I think that it would be beneficial to the property owners who took a hit on the gas tax to have a little bit of relief in that, especially since new funding is coming in. So I'm looking for a dollar amount here. I understand that some people don't want to do this, but it would help to know what the dollar amount is in order for me to make a decision whether to vote yes or no on this. Thank you.
and again, Rachel, I appreciate, your question, but I think, the Highway Director, Jeff Ronaldson, would be the best person to answer that question, as he knows his operations.
Thank you, Rashawn. I see that Tom Weigel also has a hand up.
Yeah, I'm opposed to adding the CPI, so I'm going to be voting against the levy, aggregate levy.
Thank you, Tom. Jeff Ronaldson?
Good morning, Executive. I don't know that I can answer all the questions that are being asked at the moment, but I can say that our operational budget is over $10 million, and the highway levy only provides $7 million. That levy has been maintained flat since when we spoke of previously that it was lowered, so for the past 10 years, although our contracted union salaries continue to increase, which is why we are not able to sustain the highway levy, which is why we are actually using MFT tax to supplement that. So we are already supplementing our operations with motor fuel tax dollars. Now, our multi-year plan that was approved in July is a $363 million program. So if we remove any funds from the funding that supports that program, which is the RTA, the county option, and regular motor fuel tax, those projects will have to be cut. Something will have to be cut. So there is no room to remove items unless we take away from the capital program that was approved back in July. And as Nick Palmer mentioned, there is a $1.3 million funding deficit for the 20-year plan, of which the state capital program gave us 18.5%, which was a boost, but but we're still a long ways away from the 1.3 billion. So those are some of the numbers. I'm not sure they're exactly what you're looking for, but those are some of the numbers to consider in your deliberations. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Are
you.
there
I do
other hands
follow up.
Are there other hands? No? Okay. Ms. Ventura.
I was just going to ask that so our operating cost is $7 million, and you're saying, but we need $10 million, so there's a shortfall there. I don't remember this coming up that we were at a shortfall when we, one, passed the gas tax, and two, looked at the capital bond. So, I mean, had we not passed the gas tax, how did we plan to pay for the shortfall?
We budget by the salaries, the maintenance salaries. We're allowed to use the motor fuel tax dollars to do that, so that is what we have been doing for the past several years, actually. As our levy doesn't support the total operational cost, that is what we've been using.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we need a roll call? Okay. Madam Clerk?
Call for a roll call vote.
Agree? Malone?
Since I don't agree with taking the whole CPI, I'm a no, and I'm asking my caucus to do the same. No.
Newquist? Ogalla? Cook? Mustis?
Oh.
Tyson?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Fritz? Mueller?
Yes.
Gould? Gould? Van Dyne?
Yes.
Van Dyne, yes. Balich?
No.
Grass? Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
No.
Ventura?
Feel I need more information.
Allinger?
No.
Markham? Berkowitz?
No.
Tuminello? Weigel?
No.
Carlitis? Carlitis? Cowan?
Yes.
Yes. 13 affirmative, 11 negative, and 1 abstention.
The motion passes. Mr. Harris?
All righty. Next is Resolution 20-358. This is transferring funds within the Circuit Clerk FY 2020 budget. I so move.
Second, Brooks.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Berry?
Yes.
Izzalone? Newquist?
Yes.
Ogalla? Cook? Mustis?
Yes.
Rice? Tyson? Harris? Trainier?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Grass? Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura? Ballinger? Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Tuminello, Weigel,
Yes.
Curlitis, Cowan.
Yes.
Woohoo! That was a good roll call. 25 affirmative.
Thank you.
Right.
Motion passes.
Let's see. 20-359. This is appropriating grant fund in the law library FY 2020 budget. I so move.
Troll. Barry.
Thank you. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, next is Resolution 20-360. This is appropriating grant fund in the coroner's 2020 budget. I so move.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Brooks.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, next is 20-361. This is transferring appropriation within various county budgets. I so move.
Previous
Roll Markham.
Second, Brooks.
Mueller.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the last resolution is 20-362. This is renewing the contract for the annual audit. I so move.
Second, Trenier.
Previous roll, Brass.
Barry.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That concludes my report. A special finance committee meeting was scheduled for October 20th. I believe that's next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And the next finance committee meeting is scheduled for November 5th, 2020 at 10:30. I would like to add one other comment. We just had a discussion on the levy. It's been ongoing pretty much for the last year. I think it'll be appropriate if we do at least review our levies, make sure everyone understands how it works and what we have. And as you know, we're getting ready to have a new board all around. I don't know when the last time the levy was ever adjusted, or if it is, can be adjusted. So I'm very open to maybe having that run through finance to at least have a discussion or some type of workshop. So just to be forward thinking a little bit as a board as we transition to a new board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Next up, we have Public Works and Transportation, Mr. Van Dyne.
Thank you, Madam Executive, and good morning to everyone. We have 5 resolutions to bring forward, starting with number 1, 20-363, authorizing approval of the establishment of altered speed zones 578 through 592, and I make that motion.
Previous row, bro. Second, bro.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-364, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering, second phase with Ciorba Group Incorporated for Manhattan Township Road District, County Board District 2, and I so move.
Newquist.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Number 3, 20-365, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for the supplemental design engineering services with Christopher Burke Engineering on Caton Farm Road, Bruce Road corridor study from U.S. Route 30 to the intersection of Illinois Route 7, County Board District 7 and 9, and I so move.
Second, Frizzalone.
Previous, Barry.
Second, Bryant.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-366, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for supplemental design engineering services, first phase, with Civil Tech Engineering on the Caton Farm Road, Bruce Road corridor, County Board District 7 and 9, and I'll make the motion.
Second, Frizzalone.
Previous, Barry.
Questions? All those in favor? Oh,
I have a
I'm
question.
sorry.
Aye.
Gretchen, Ms. Fritz?
Thank you. So I'm a little bit confused on number 4. The dollar amount is $317,951.56, and the next one is the appropriation of funds, but the dollar amount is significantly different, $192,686.74. So I'm wondering why the discrepancy between the contract and the appropriation.
Mr. Ronaldson, can you speak to that, please?
Sure, absolutely. For that particular contract, IDOT authorized an abundance of MFT, I guess you would say, or over allocated money. So we have a balance in the funding at the moment. So we only need to authorize another $192,000 to bring it back to even. So that's why the numbers are actually different. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Lastly, number 5, 20-367, authorizing the appropriation of MFT funds, $192,686.74 for the supplemental design engineering services, first phase, by a county under the Illinois Highway Code for Caton Farm Road, Bruce Road corridor, County Board District 7 and 9, and I so move.
Second, Frizzalone.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Barry.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Our next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for November 5th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Dyne. Next up, we have Judicial, Mr. Markham.
Month, and our next meeting is to be determined. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Markham. Next up, we have Public Health and Safety, Mr. Gould. Mr. Gould.
Trouble with his audio.
No. We're not able to hear Mr. Gould or get anything from him. Perhaps Ms. Rice, who is Vice Chair, would give that report.
I would like to just give Mr. Gould an opportunity just to put that in chat if that's okay with him, and I'd be happy to. We do have no votable items, so I think it would be okay with him. Or
We have a report that needs to be placed on file.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
Denise?
Yes.
Don Gould. Sorry, I'm
Having some struggles today. We hear. You have a report for us? We lost him again. There is a report that needs to be filed.
The report, I have the report. It's the Will County Regional Office of Education annual report.
right.
Yep.
Motion to approve.
Second Mueller.
Previous roll, Trenier.
Second, Fritz.
Second, Ferry.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Our next meeting is November 4th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. Next up, we have Legislative and Policy, Ms. Trenier.
Thank you, Madam Executive. We have no resolutions to bring forward this month. We are working on issues that may be pertinent to our state and federal agendas. We had a presentation from some animal lovers on puppy mills. We also talked briefly about an issue that came up last month, and I urge all of our staff and departments to come forward if they have things they would like to see on the state and federal agendas for next year. And that's about it. We're going to have our next meeting next month. Hopefully, we'll have some more issues to discuss. That'll be November 10th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trenier. Next up, we have Capital Improvements, Mr. Brooks.
Good morning, Madam Executive and County Board. I have no resolution to bring forward. However, we did have a lot of project updates. We had a ribbon cutting ceremony. Thanks for all your support for the courthouse on the 9th. Although my next meeting is scheduled for, it says November 10, I have asked our committee and staff if we can cancel that meeting, pay all of our bills on November 5th meeting, and resume in December. And that is all the report I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Next, we have our Executive Committee, Speaker Collins.
Thank you very much, Madam Executive. Okay, we're going to start out with public hearing. So I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing regarding amending the Will County Code of Ordinances Liquor Control Ordinance for an increase in Class B license.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Ferry?
Yes.
Izzalone?
Yes.
Newquist? Yes. Ogalla? Ogalla? Cook?
Yes, sorry.
Cook? Mustis? Rice? Rice?
Yes.
Tyson?
Rice is a yes.
Tyson? Harris? Harris? Trenier? Fritz?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Gould? Gould? Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Brass?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura? Ballinger?
Yes.
Markham? Berkowitz?
Yes.
Tuminello? Weigel?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
23 affirmative. 23 affirmative.
We are in public hearing. Are there members of the public wishing to speak? We have no one signed up. Nothing appears to be online. No one wishing to speak in public hearing. No one wishing to speak. No one on the line wishing to speak in the public hearing. Madam Clerk? Or we need a motion.
Come on, a public hearing.
I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second for Zalone.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Gotta vote again. Hang on.
Ferry,
Yes.
Frizalone, Newquist,
Yes.
Ogalla,
Like this is our first time ever.
Ogalla,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Mustis,
Yes.
Rice, Tyson, Harris, Trainier, Fritz, Mueller,
Yes.
Gould, Van Dyne,
Yes.
Salich, Brass,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ventura,
Yes.
Dollinger, Markham,
Yes.
Berkowitz, Tumanello,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
22 affirmative.
Thank you. We are out of public hearing. Speaker Cowan?
All right, so our first item, 20-368, amending Will County Code of Ordinances Liquor Control Ordinance for an increase in Class B license as requested by Frankfurt Square Investment LLC, Anthony DeSabato, agent. And just a note on this, it's as amended in your packets. The date that it will begin is January 1st, 2021. And that was just so that the applicant could pay his fee for 2021 and not have to pay just weeks before 2021 and then again have to pay on January 1st. So I will make a motion.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Ferry.
Oh, okay. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-369, authorizing the county executive to bind insurance coverage and execute contracts, and I so move.
Second, Mustis.
Previous roll, Ogalla.
Second, Tyson.
Thank you. Any questions?
We've got a couple people that we need to see if they're on, if we want to keep doing previous. So Judy, are you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Ken Harris? Okay. And then Don Gould. I see Don in the chat, so I will look for his messages there, but.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now where am I? I think we had all in favor. Yeah. I think were there any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes.
20-370, authorizing an amendment to the agreement with Bronner Group for additional services for nonprofit review and payment of CARES Act funding, and I so move.
Second for Zalone.
Second, Nicholas.
Thank you. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-371, authorizing an amendment to the contract with Axion for management of CARES Small Business Program, and I so move.
Previous roll call,
Mueller.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes.
20-372, authorizing a lease agreement, State of Illinois, for office space for the Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission at the new Will County Courthouse, and I so move.
Second, Mueller.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-373, renewing contract with Trezino Concrete for snow removal services at the Public Safety Complex, and I so move.
Previous roll call, Eustace.
Second, Harris.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. One moment, please. What's the name? Attorney Rasha, did you need to speak? Oh, okay. That was on the workers' comp piece. Yes. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. 20-374, renewing contracts for refuse and recycling collection for various county buildings, and I so move.
Second, Ferry.
Previous Brooks.
Tyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
20-375, renewing contract for elevator maintenance for various Will County office buildings, and I so move.
Second, Ferry.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Eustace.
Thank you. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-376, awarding bid toner cartridges, printer, maintenance, and cleaning, and I so move.
Second, Mueller.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-377, awarding bid for sale of surplus vehicles, and I so move.
Second, Eustace.
Previous, Ferry.
Second, Brooks.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-378, authorizing lease agreement with Bays Glenwood LLC for office space at 2400 Glenwood Avenue, Suite 110, for use by Will County Veterans Assistance Commission, and I so move.
Second, Eustace.
Previous roll, Dallinger. Second, Mueller.
Any discussion?
My hand is up. I have a question.
Ms. Fritz?
Thank you. I was under the impression that they were moving into 1300 Copperfield, so why are we doing a full year contract? I know the Copperfield deal is not completely finished, but I'm under the impression that we're far enough along to be able to anticipate the VAC being able to move over there within 6 months.
Thank you. Mr. Palmer is coming to the microphone.
Can everybody hear me, hopefully? I don't know if everyone could hear me. Gretchen, it's not, we're still waiting for the final action, I believe, next month on the purchase of the building. This has gone through a couple committees. Dave Tack has given some updates. Because of the property was never split, the parcel, that had to go through the city of Joliet, and I think Dave has reported on that a few times, but the City Plan Commission approved that. That's going to the full City Council, I believe, this month or the first meeting in November. So then we'll be able to close on the property. But it's going to take the better part of next year to get work done. So we are doing at least a year lease, and we may have to go a little longer after that. But it was cheaper to do a full year lease. We got a better price than to do month to month. They weren't going to give us as good a price. So we asked that same question, but a year is going to be at least that to get the work done and get VAC in there. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. And Ms. Trenier?
That was my question, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Others? Okay. We have a motion and a second, and we have previous roll. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
All right, here we go with IGA Fest. 20-379, authorizing IGA with Village of Beecher for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second for Zalone.
CSO Comm Eustace.
Second, Gogala.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-380, authorizing IGA with Village of Bolingbrook for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second for Zalone.
Previous rule, Tyson.
I think we have 4 answers there. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-381, authorizing IGA with Braidwood Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Van Dyne.
Previous roll, Brass.
Second, Tuminello.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
20-382, authorizing IGA with Shanahan Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second for
Van Dyne.
Previous roll for Zalone.
Second, Brass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-383, authorizing IGA with Village of Shanahan for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Van Dyne.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Eustace.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
20-384, authorizing IGA with City of Crest Hill for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Eustace.
Second, Brooke.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries.
20-385, authorizing IGA with Elwood Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Van Dyne.
Previous roll, Mueller. Sure.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-386, authorizing IGA with the Village of Elwood for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Van Dyne.
Previous roll, Tuminello. Second, Ferry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-387, authorizing IGA with Homer Township Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Alone.
Previous Ferry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-388, authorizing IGA with Northwest Homer Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Previous roll call, Eustace.
Second, Tuminello.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes.
20-389, authorizing IGA with Lockport Township Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system.
Second Frizzalone. Second Frizzalone.
Second, Tuminello.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
20-390, authorizing IGA with City of Lockport for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Brooke.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
20-391, authorizing IGA with Minooka Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Brass.
Tuminello.
Second, Mueller.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-392, authorizing IGA with Plainfield Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Ferry.
Previous Mueller.
Second, Eustace.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-393, authorizing IGA with Village of Shorewood for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Eustace.
Roll, Tyson.
Second, Ferry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-394, authorizing IGA with Troy Township Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Brooke.
And Fritz.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
20-395, authorizing IGA with Wilmington Fire Protection District for access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Second, Van Dyne.
Hello.
Second, Mueller.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
20-396, replacement hire for the EMA, planning, training, and exercise offer, and I so move. Officer, and I so move.
Second Frizzalone.
Previous roll, Ogala.
Second, Ferry.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
20-397, replacement hire for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, HR Division Manager, and I so move.
Second Frizzalone.
Previous Ferry.
Second, Ogala.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-398, replacement hire for Sunny Hill Nursing Home Social Worker, and I so move.
Second Frizzalone.
Previous roll, Ogala.
Second, Tyson.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
20-399, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home Housekeeping and Clerical Receptionist, and I so move.
Second, Mueller.
Second, Brooke.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
Okay, so 20-400 is not needed, so I'm going to make a motion to remove this from the agenda, authorizing IGA with Will County Regional Office of Education and various school districts. I make a motion to remove from the agenda.
Second, Tuminello.
Previous roll, Mueller.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, same thing with this one. 20-401 is no longer needed, or not needed at this point, rather, so we're going to remove this from the agenda as well. Authorizing an agreement with Waste Management regarding Prairie View Landfill RNG facility. I am making a motion to remove this from the agenda.
Previous roll, Mueller.
Second, Ferry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I'm thinking, when was the last time the RNG committee met? Maybe get an update. I know leadership has met and have discussed various things they've have negotiated, but I guess I'm asking you to maybe call a meeting next month so we can all get up to date and maybe try to move this along. I think we continually these negotiations are difficult, they get bogged down, but in the meantime, I think it's potentially affecting our timeline on RNG plant, and maybe we'll have to do some revisions to our initial but anyway, I'm just wondering if you'll maybe call a meeting of the RNG committee next month.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Moustis. Yes, we will. As a matter of fact, we may even have to call a special meeting, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Are there other questions? No. Okay. So we had all in favor on 401. I'll just check to make sure.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Aye.
Aye.
And were there any opposed? Okay, that motion passes.
All right, so this last one, we don't actually need a motion or any votes on this, but we had some questions about broadly stated the legality surrounding North Point, so I think Mary Tatro is going to address some of these questions for us.
Yes, thank you very much. One of the questions that came up during executive committee meeting was the status of the application from North Point for, I believe it was a map amendment. And of course, I think that Brian Radner did already explain that they had a complete application and there is no mechanism in our ordinance currently to terminate an application when there has been a lack of activity with regard to it. I did go over the ordinance and confirm that that in fact is the case. So at this time, I would recommend that this topic be assigned to the Land Use Committee, and I will work with Mr. Radner to draft language that would address it such that when you have a complete application and there has been no activity, the county board could or staff could send notice to the applicant and give them a certain amount of time to move forward or not, and if they fail to move forward, then the application file will be closed.
Thank you, Mary.
Were there questions? Thank you, Mary.
All right, our next executive committee meeting is scheduled for November 5th, 2020 at 10 a.m. We're going to keep continuing to try to work out this hybrid meeting stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to do some of that executive in person. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Speaker Cowan.
Oh, sorry, that's still me. I would like to make a motion to accept the October 2020 appointments to boards and commissions.
Second, Mueller.
Yes, roll call, Eustace.
Second,
Van Dyne.
Thank you.
I did it, Van.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have any members of the public signed up to speak? No members of the public wishing to speak. At this time, I believe Member Brass would like to bring forward a resolution or an acknowledgement.
Yes. Good afternoon, fellow commissioners. How are you? As we all know, October marks the 35th anniversary of Breast Cancer Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I would dare to say that all of us have been affected personally by this devastating disease, whether it was learning of the diagnosis of a mother, a sister, a grandmother, aunt, a father. Yes, men are also diagnosed with breast cancer, a friend, or even yourself. The number of women I've known who have been diagnosed is numerous. I see their faces in my head as I speak about this. We have all witnessed those who survived and thrived, but also many who lost their fight. During this month of breast cancer awareness, we emphasize the heightened effect it has on people and also the importance of prevention. I will read some statistics to that point that educates us in both these areas. About 1 in 8 U.S. women will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. In 2020, an estimated 276,480 new cases of invasive breast cancer, along with 48,530 new cases of non-invasive breast cancer, are expected to be diagnosed in U.S. women. In 2020, an estimated 2,620 men will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. 42,170 women in the U.S. are expected to die in this year of 2020 from breast cancer. Death rates have been steady in women under 50 since 2007, but have continued to drop in women over 50. The overall death rate from breast cancer decreased by 1.3% per year from 2013 to 2017. These decreases are thought to be the result of treatment advances, early detection through screening, and increased awareness. For women in the U.S., breast cancer death rates are higher than those of any other cancer besides lung cancer. Growing evidence suggests breast cancer risk can be decreased with regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, monthly self-exams, and yearly mammograms for women over the age of 40. Thank you for your attention with this matter, and let us continue to support all of those agencies who are doing various fundraisers during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Member Brass. Are there other board members wishing to speak? Tom Weigel?
I have my hand up.
Thank you, Denise. I've been emailing with Jeff Ronaldson about the license plate readers, and he indicated that they're still working on an intergovernmental agreement for the various municipalities. There was one previously developed, but they wanted more detailed information, and the state's attorney has updated it and sent it to the municipalities for review, and it will be brought back to the Public Works Committee next month for further discussion. So the issue is still alive, and we'd like to move forward with it in New Lenox, Frankfort, and Moni, I understand. So I did send an email to Beth Adams, the one that I received from Jeff Ronaldson, and asked him to forward it to all the county board members so you can see what the discussion has been. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. I believe Mr. Brooks is next.
Yes, thank you, Madam Executive. One thing that I failed to mention earlier during the Spanish Center check presentation is, as you know, Ms. Winfrey, the process Spanish Center started when you were my colleague on the county board. However, it ended with my current colleague, Edna Brass. I called her yesterday. I told her what I was doing, and due to COVID-19, obviously chose to stay at home, a smart move, but I was doing that in person. But I forgot to mention her name, Edna Brass, and I present the check to Spanish Center on this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. And thank you, Member Brass, for being willing to support the Spanish Community Center.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I believe Member Ballich is next.
Yes, I have a question as to why I'm denied the right to speak as a county board member in committee meetings until at the very end after the vote already takes place. So my opinion is stifled before everyone votes. I don't like that. In the past, we were always allowed to speak, and all of a sudden when I try to talk, I'm told I can't talk till the end in public comments. And I think that's wrong. I just want to clarify it. Is that what the rule is, that county board members can no longer speak before the vote takes place in a committee meeting?
Our process is that members of the committee speak first. Whether other members speak before or after the vote, I'm not sure. Mary Tatro is here. She can clarify that piece of it. But committee members always speak first.
Correct. I don't have a...
Then the chair has the right to recognize other members as desired. I'm sorry, Mary?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not on the microphone.
Oh. Hold on, please, Steve.
I believe that past practice has been that the chair would recognize non-committee members before the vote. I'm not sure what happened, but ultimately it is in the discretion of the chair to decide who to recognize. But that past practice has been that all county board members are recognized before the vote.
Yeah, I just think that it's inappropriate for a county board member not to be allowed to speak before the vote. I mean, I'm not on the committee, but I'm at the meeting, and I don't like something or I like something, I should be able to voice my opinion. And I'm not being able to until it's too late. They say talking after the vote's done. I don't even bother. The vote already happened. What's the point of talking if you can't even try to get your opinion out?
Thank you, Steve. Next up is Madam Mueller.
Members, I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know that today is the last day to complete your census. I know that last we talked about this, it was going to be the 31st of October, but there's been a Supreme Court ruling in the interim since then. So I want to thank you all so much for all of your participation in the census, and I want to encourage you all to, when you leave this meeting today, to post out on social media and any networks you have to remind people today is the last day. This is a lot of money for our constituents, for us to be able to help them. And so we really need to push this last day to get the rest of the count in, especially in some areas of the county. So I just wanted to say thank you and let you guys know that that's where we're at with this, and that's it. Thanks so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Mr. Mustis?
Yes. I just wanted to perhaps go back to Steve Ballich's point. I don't believe our county board rules necessarily address this specifically, but the past practices is that always county board members were recognized, and that's even non-members of the committee, and they were recognized during the discussion after all the committee members were done speaking. And generally, they were able to speak once to the issue. We didn't necessarily keep going back to non-members of the committee, but certainly they were allowed to speak before a vote was taken. So, if this is becoming a problem, I would hope it would not be, and that we would not have to address it. in our rules. We will be adopting the rules in December, I believe, and if there's going to be suggested rule changes, now is the time to move them forward to the executive committee for consideration. So I guess that's pretty much my comment on those things. And of course, thanks everyone for all your hard work all month long under trying circumstances. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mustis. And you are right on the rules. Committee members speak first. The chair then can recognize whomever in the room, and that has consistently been our practice. For those people who are newer to chairs, just a reminder that committee members speak first, and then the chair recognizes others around the room. And as has been said, they typically speak one time, state their opinion, and then move on. Ms. Ogala?
Sorry, thank you, County Executive. I could say that one more time now for you here for sure. And next month, and then we'll be moving on. So I just wanted to say that the Republican caucus silencing began when the leadership changed, when the majority changed on the county board. In the past, while I've been on the board, the majority party has held, if there was a 7-person committee, it was 4 of the majority and 3 of the minority party. That changed to a 5-2, so the silencing began there, and certain situations have come up when they have not called on other people to speak. I understand that we may not all agree, but we do represent our constituents and our community, and our constituents have the right to be heard through the voice of the elected person as well as their vote. I really hope that as we move forward and we have a new county board coming up in December that will be sworn in, I certainly hope that everyone, regardless of which party you stand on, you believe that you, as an elected, should have the right to speak, and that your voice counts for your constituents. Because if we continue to silence the minority party, whether that be the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, I think we are being unjust to the constituents of Will County. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ogala. Ms. Ventura?
Yes, hi. To Meta's point about sharing on social media, thank you for announcing that. I also wanted to bring up that Beth Rice had indicated email that had gone out by Megan Walsh showing food insecurities across Will County, the places that you can go to get food, pantries, different food giveaways, and on the website that they've put together, there's also ability to post that if you have an organization or, maybe a one-time event or even an ongoing event to do that. I think that too would be very wise for all of us to share on our social media pages. If the county could also put something out, I know Beth had asked about that in caucus. I think that this is a very worthy cause. Right now, there are a lot of families who have never struggled with this before who are having a hard time now. So I think that would be good. To the point on the silencing, I agree with Judy that we are representing our constituents, and I know not everyone here likes to hear my opinion, but I do feel that I am stating the opinion of the majority of my constituents, and it is important that we respect one another. Even if we don't agree with our opinions, we must still have decorum and professionalism, and that includes allowing those members to have some type of say. So to that, I will be suggesting some changes to our rules next month in hopes that everybody has the right to be heard. It's okay to disagree with what is being said, but censorship is not okay in a democracy. And then the last point, Edna Bress, thank you so much for presenting that earlier this month. One of my good friends was diagnosed with breast cancer, so I think that too is something that we should continue to elevate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I believe Jackie Trunier is next.
Say something for clarification. I made a comment in our Democratic caucus about that really cool app with the food locations. I couldn't find the little link for the food pantries, but they are on there. They're in green. It was a little confusing to me because all of the ones I looked at looked like they were schools. So I thought, okay, these are the schools where they hand out the lunches for kids, breakfast and lunches. But upon further review, I realized that, yes, all the food pantries and even the micro food pantries in Will County are on there. So if you know of a location, I would really encourage you to reach out to Ms. Walsh so she can get anything on there updated. I've shared it on Facebook, and I encourage everybody else to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moustis and Mr. Ballard, your hands are still up. Are there other comments?
Yes, I'm just, this is Mr. Ballard. I just wanted to ask, go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
I was taking my hand down.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, so am I allowed to talk before the vote, or am I supposed to just sit there and not say nothing? And we didn't say what the rule's going to be.
I think we just went through that. The rule is that the committee members speak first, other people, then other members and others get recognized by the chair.
Okay, so the chair doesn't have to recognize me then, correct?
The chair should recognize you.
Okay, that's all I want to know. So now I will raise my hand and talk like I should have been able to do all along. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there others wishing to speak? Okay. Our minority leader, Mr. Frizzalone.
Ciao and Dzień dobry, Will County. This month is National Italian Heritage and Polish American Heritage Month. And since I'm both, I want to congratulate all of our Italian Americans and Polish Americans for all of the things that they've contributed to our great country. I'd also like to congratulate everybody that was involved in the start and the finish of our county courthouse. It certainly is an amazing building, and I'm excited for next month when we go live and the residents also get to see the inside of it. And lastly, as I certainly know, there are only 19 days left until Election Day. Can't wait. And I just encourage all of our residents to get out and vote, make your voices heard. Thank you, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Frizzalone. Our majority leader, Mr. Ferry.
Thank you, Denise. I just would like to point out to everyone that October is designated as National Fire Prevention Month. And the National Safety Council reports that annually 4,000 fatalities occur in house fires and another 20,000 injuries occur. So they have a list of 10 things you should do, and the two main things that I picked out was change the batteries in the smoke detectors and determine an escape route, review it, and also specify a central meeting point for the young children, if you have them in the house, or any other members for that matter. And also, I, too, wanted to use part of my remarks this month to give a thank you to our local union labor community for their tremendous effort in building our new courthouse. The men and women who build Will County truly continue to be the standard for excellence in construction and safety while also remaining on or under budget. This capital effort has truly been a great partnership between Will County, the Will County government, the labor community, and the union contractors of Will County. And as we have all witnessed, America works best when it says union yes. So I thank you, and thank you for your effort.
Thank you, Mr. Ferry. Our speaker, Ms. Cowan.
Thank you, Madam Executive. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the board members and staff for their continued patience as we continue to work out the kinks with the technology. Obviously, this is kind of a test run with the hybrid situation, and we do still have some kinks to work out. But just as we adapted to being virtual, not without its bumps in the roads, there's going to be some growing pains with this transition as well. But I'd especially like to thank Mike Shea, Ben Knight, and also Dave Tack. Because of these three staff members, as well as many, many others, we have a bigger and better space to work in today. So again, if you have had specific problems today accessing or not getting the full picture of what's going on, if you can email me with specifically what your issue was so we can try to address those before we sort of move into more hybrid situations, that would be great. Getting the information in the chat box is not really the most efficacious way to get that information. Send me an email, send Beth an email, send the two of us an email together so we can actively address the issues and work for finding solutions. Staff is trying to handle a lot during these meetings, and we really appreciate all of their efforts and everything they try to do. Things do fall through the cracks, but if you are finding something is consistently an issue with like not being acknowledged when your hand is raised, we can improve our process. But I need to kind of get those issues in an organized fashion rather just than on the fly in these meetings. So help me to help you by getting that information directly. Along the same lines, to Mr. Balich's complaint, Steve, that was the first time I'd heard that you had that issue. And it would have been really great if you had contacted me directly about it, because then you and I could have worked together for a proactive solution that was an appropriate solution and addressed the exact issue. I respect your right to bring it up in full board meeting, but if you want to get in touch with me via email or phone, you have my contact information, and I would be happy to make sure that you are able to be heard when you want to at committee meetings and get the clear information about that.
And Amy, I did talk to the chair.
Speaking, Mr. Balich. I will look forward to seeing most of you at a committee of the whole, hopefully all of you, on the rules as we will be discussing, and also on redistricting. We're targeting November 13th for that, but we have not confirmed the date yet. So watch your emails. Those will be two important conversations that I hope everyone takes part in. If you have other requests for committees of the whole, I happen to see that Gretchen requested a committee of the whole on the RNG plant. Again, chat box, we don't always catch everything that goes through there, as everyone knows. So a personal email or call with requests like that would be awesome. Also, keep your eyes out. We're going to need to be scheduling a special meeting to appoint a coroner. That's going to happen after the election. Lori Summers is the current coroner, but that will expire 60 days from the appointment, which is sometime in November, so before we actually install the new coroner. So please keep your eyes out for that special meeting as well. Finally, I would just like to revisit our memorial moment for Executive Larry Walsh. Larry was an inexhaustible advocate for the people of Will County, and I hope that going forward, all of us can carry that spirit with us and continue, as I know we all want to also be inexhaustible advocates for the people of Will County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the Speaker said, we began today's service with a memorial for our County Executive, Larry Walsh, Sr. We want to wrap today with recognition of someone who was also here for 16 years, and that is our Chief of Staff, Nick Palmer, who was here hold your head up, who was here 16 years as Chief of Staff to Larry. As you all know, tomorrow is his last day in that role, and we want to recognize the time, the energy, and the effort he put forward doing that. So, Nick, if you would come to the podium, please. We just want to recognize the time that you put forward, the work that you've done, and the effort in your time as Chief of Staff. And the plaque that we have here says Nick Palmer, Will County Executive Chief of Staff, 2004 to 2020, in recognition of your outstanding dedication and exceptional service to the County Executive's Office and the residents of Will County. Lawrence M. Walsh, County Executive, December 2004 to 2020. Denise Winfrey, County Executive, June 20 to November 20. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I know this meeting's been long, so I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thanks. I've worked with many board members over the years, numerous elected officials, and it's been great. I'm very honored to be able to stay in the Will County family and work a little longer, so hopefully things will go well and I'll be here. I'm not sure I'm going to make another 16 years, but hopefully a few more years. So thank you, Denise. Thank you, everyone, board members who are online, everybody. I appreciate it. So thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you to all of you for this board meeting today. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved. There's a loan.
Second, Ferry.
Previous roll, Tyson.
I assume we are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all so much. Please have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.